guys, and welcome back to Dun's Little Hobbies. And in today's video, I am going to be doing a top tier list of not just my favorite animes, but of all the animes I remember actually seeing and actually liking. You know, everyone does one of these. Everyone does these top tier lists of animes they like, and they put them into either a top 10 list or a top tier list and talk about these certain animes. In this video, I am going to give you, of course, my thoughts on these animes, but here's the thing. I have 35 animes. That is right. I have 35 animes to talk about in this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a picture of the anime here, and then over here will be a small description, and then I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the anime, and then we're going to move on to the next anime. I'm going to be putting them in my top 5 tier list. This list is also for those who are just getting into anime or are unfortunately stuck in quarantine right now and trying to find something to watch. Then this video will give you a good general idea of my opinion on these animes. I have 5 tiers that we are going to be doing. We are going to start out from the bottom up. Alright, and now we are going to go into the God tier list. The God tier list. These are the animes that are just absolutely mind-blowing. They simply just blew my mind. I praise them, and I can't praise them enough. They're fantastic. Alright, let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? God tier number 5. Psychopaths. More like psychopaths! Oh my god! What? I have no words except fantastic. Fantastic. It messes with your mind. It really does. That anime messed with my head, making me think of things that I really didn't think I was gonna think of watching that. Psychopaths. I thought it was going to be like some psycho going crazy and them having to kill and hunt down the psycho. And granted, they do that, but Psychopaths just really asks the question about psychology. Are you really a psychopath? Who is a psychopath? And should we take care of psychopaths, you know? Or should we lock them up? Should we, I don't know, put them in jail? What do you do with psychopaths? It made me pretty much a psychopath when I watched it. My god, it's fantastic. Okay, number 4. Number 4 is Demon Slayer. Alright, again, I'm usually not into these type of ghouls and goblins and demons kind of stories. You know, it's just not my thing. But God, Demon Slayer, fantastic animation. And while it has like average story, like it's an average little story, the way they present it to you in both the manga and the anime just makes it, again, God tier. It's fantastic. Okay, number 3. Full Metal Alchemist. Realize this is the original Full Metal Alchemist and not Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I tried to watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I did not like it. But I loved Full Metal Alchemist, and I did read the manga. Full Metal Alchemist, fantastic. Absolutely great anime. And the story, it's so sad. It's about these 2 brothers that, they lost their mom, and they tried to bring him back, and because of that, They lost their body as well as their arms. And I mean, the whole adventure is just them trying to get what they lost. They learned their lesson, and they're trying to just get back what they lost. It's a really sad story. Fantastic anime. Okay, number 2. This is another hidden gem. Death Note. What can I say about the Death Note? When I watched this anime, when I went into this anime, I thought this was going to be about goblins and demons trying to find someone and kill something. I don't know. Did I expect this to be a whole story about detectives and about how a good person, a good guy, can turn into a villain and from that be incredibly dark and incredibly evil? It's literally about the bad guy pretending to be good. He was a good guy. He turned bad. Because of his actions, he turned bad. And he then had to stay on top above the detectives. And he even becomes a detective, just to keep the detectives off of his butt. What an amazing story. Fantastic. I had no idea that the story was going to go into like that. And it's just great. I have no words. God tier. God tier. Okay. So, number 1. Number 1 God tier anime. My Hero Academia. How can this not be God tier anime? How can this not be a God tier anime? It's fantastic. You really get connected to these characters. It's all about superheroes. Everyone loves superheroes nowadays. You really get connected to these characters, though. It's not just people in capes flying around with superpowers. You really get connected to these characters, and these characters-driven stories is what makes it God tier. Not to mention the animation is gorgeous too. No lie about that. Alright. So that is God tier. Now we have to talk about my all-time favorites. This is the list of anime that is above God tier for me. These animes will always, always, always be my favorite animes, and I cannot recommend them enough. If you are in quarantine and you're looking for something to watch, I want you to watch these animes here. Now, My Hero Academia should be in this list. Why did I put it in God tier? Well, it's simply because I love My Hero Academia, but when I look back onto just my own nostalgia, for nostalgia reasons, I can't put My Hero Academia as my all-time favorite list. If this was a top 10 list, My Hero Academia would be number 10. But it's not. These are my all-time favorites, 9 animes that are just fantastic. I cannot highly recommend them enough. Let's go ahead and talk about these animes. Alright, and now we have to talk about my absolute favorite animes of all time. We are going to start out with number 9, 7 Seeds. This is an anime on Netflix. It's brand new, and instantly it's become one of my favorite animes of all time, simply because of the story. It's about living past the apocalypse. It's these people who were thrown into the future and now have to survive after the apocalypse. And it's just this question of How do you survive in the wilderness? How do you survive and create the future, you know? How do you survive the apocalypse and what happens after that? You know, it's just really an interesting story. Alright, and that is number 9. Now we have to go with number 8. And number 8, we have Steins Gate. Wow! God tier! Steins Gate is God tier. I love future stuff. I love time travel stuff. And the fact is, Steins Gate does time travel perfectly. God tier. I can't recommend that enough. I want to say more about it, but I don't want to spoil it. It's about this scientist who makes time travel, and then because of that, he ends up sending his best friends in trouble, basically. And it's just perfect. And again, it's one of those shows that it's character driven. That's why I love it. Okay, number 7. Number 7 is Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion. Lelouch. Wow, what a name. And man, was that a good show. And I actually I went back recently and watched the entire anime again. And it's just a fantastic show. Lelouch is simply, he starts out as a good person, trying to do good, but he kind of turns into a psychopath. He kind of turns evil. And look, I don't care who you are, Lelouch, Zero, he's a bad guy. He's a villain. He kind of reminds me of Vendetta. If you remember V for Vendetta, that movie, it's basically that, only with mechs. You know, that's the only difference, is it's with mechs. Alright, and now we go to number 6. Number 6, Assassination Classroom. Wow, I had no idea what I was getting into when I watched that anime, but my god, what makes it great is just, again, the characters. These characters, these kids, the way they interact with each other, the way they deal with not only their own personal problems in life, but then have to also deal with the fact that they have to kill their teacher, is fantastic. And the teacher's story of Assassination Classroom is great too. The story is all about trying to kill the teacher. By the way, Assassination Classroom, it sounds like it's super, super dark, but really, it's super, super dark humor. It is hilarious. Love it. I thought this was going to be like a really dark, deep, and brewing show like Death Note or something. No, it was hilarious. It's like one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. Not as funny as One Punch Man, but it's definitely God tier and one of my all-time favorites. Okay, at number 5. Now we're going into my 5 top list of anime. My 5 top list is Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho 100. Wow. When I first watched that anime, I had no idea what I was getting into again. I just heard it was about this guy who had telepath powers. That was it. He could make things float with his mind. I had no idea that this was Mob. The guy's name is Mob, and he's just a psychopath. It's fantastic to see how the show goes, and I want to talk about more, but again, we gotta move on. Go watch Mob Psycho. Cannot recommend it enough. Black Clover, number 4. Black Clover. What is it about this anime that makes me love it so? I love it more than even My Hero Academia. And what it is about it is it just gives me the feeling of Naruto. Um, Naruto, I have such nostalgia for, and it's really just like Naruto 2.0. That's basically what it is. It's instead of ninjas, we're dealing with magical swords, magic. That's it. We're dealing with wizards instead of ninjas, but it's just like Naruto. Fantastic story. Can't wait to see more. And I do hope that it branches out from just being a Naruto 2.0 and becomes something of its own, even greater. And I can't wait to see it do that. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is the second anime of all time that I've ever watched. Remember, I didn't know Yu-Gi-Oh! Was anime when I first saw it, okay? Because of that, I don't count Yu-Gi-Oh! As my first anime. Even though technically Yu-Gi-Oh! Is my first anime was Naruto, my second anime of all time was Dragon Ball Z. Specifically, Dragon Ball Z Kai. I did not see Dragon Ball Z, I saw Dragon Ball Z Kai. And I, of course, fell in love with the story. Fantastic. Fantastic story. Alright. And number 2, Naruto Shippuden. And number 1, Naruto, the OG Naruto. The original young, goofy Naruto himself. I love the Knucklehead Ninja. The number 1 hyperactive Knucklehead Ninja into Naruto versus Sasuke, because that was the most amazing fight of all time. I love Naruto. Now the OG Naruto, even better. The OG Naruto, even better. I just love how good feels it has, and it has some serious moments. It has some laughs. It has some jokes, and it will always be my number 1. It is my number 1. I cannot recommend Naruto enough. Fantastic story. With that said, you might not agree with any of the choices I've made in this video. Let me know down in the comments below your top tier list, your favorite animes, and what anime should I watch. Thank you guys for watching, and this was pretty much a big, long video about all my favorite animes, all 35 of them, and my opinions on them. With that said, I'm out. Bye.